everyone, my name's Danielle and welcome to another episode of Board Game Bakes. This is a fun show where I make board game themed pieces and components in edible form. This week we're going to focus on Tiny Towns, produced by the Alderac Entertainment Group. In this game, you're drafting resources and placing them on the board in the right configuration so you could have buildings to support your town. And the nice thing is that the components are actually simple enough that we're going to make the entire thing except for the cards. So we're going to make an edible board and edible buildings, and then we're going to cheat and use M&Ms for the resource tokens. Let's get started. To get started, you're going to need some sugar cookie dough. I decided not to show making here, but I'll put a link below to my meeple video that shows you how to make this dough. It's my favorite basic sugar cookie dough. First step is you want to divide it into different pieces. I think there's 8 different colors, so I divide it into 8 different pieces, and this is for all the buildings. So now I'm going through and dyeing the little bits different colors to match the different buildings from Tiny Towns. And I tried wearing gloves at one point, and I just give up. It feels weird, so I just wind up looking very special when I'm done. If you look at my hands. But if you look on the right, I've got a plate that's growing a different colored dough. Woo! Final one! There you go. We got our nice collection of Play-Doh, and then just a plain one on the side that's going to be the board. And then I wrapped all of them up and I put them in the fridge. You want them to be in the fridge for at least an hour. Here's the long tedious part, where you get to roll out all the doughs of the different colors. Before this, you saw I cheated and I used my Cricut to get all the different buildings. The first one's nice and easy though, because it's just circles. So I just found the smallest circle cookie cutter and cut all those out. This is the tower one, so it's pink, and thankfully you don't need that many of these. But I literally just using a paring knife and try and cut this out. If I was ever going to mass produce these, I would take the time to make a cookie cutter. But for this video, it's just a long process of cutting out and tracing all these little stencils. Now we've got all the black buildings. And once again, these were bigger ones, so you need as many. So when you're dyeing the dough in the beginning, you could also look at how many you think you'll probably need and make different amounts of the dough. Now we're doing the blue one. And with a lot of these, I eventually just gave up using the stencil. I was like, that building looks about like this. So I used a pastry knife to cut out them so they're all the same shape, and then just kind of roughly chopped them so they look like the buildings. So many little cottages. We're chugging along. We're getting closer. At the little farmhouses. And of course the bigger ones that are easier to cut out, you don't need as many of them. It's all the little ones that you spend forever cutting out. Moving along to green. Look at us moving along. The nice thing though about dyeing the dough beforehand is that you don't have to use icing on it afterwards. So it's dyed the color that you want it to be. And then when I was baking them, for some that seemed that they weren't really flat on the bottom, I just took a knife and cut off the unflat part. So this way they could theoretically stand up like the pieces in the game. And thankfully I never cut myself during this whole experience. But be careful with the knife. This one was a little hard to do. Has a lot of little nooks and crannies that I just had to try and kind of hope for the best with. You're going to bake them at 350 degrees, and I think I wound up having there between 4 to 6 minutes depending on the size of the cookie. So it's one of those ones where you probably want to set the oven and do like 3 minutes and then check back. But since they're small and they're different colors, it wound up being that it's kind of hard to tell, and they're probably a little bit more done than you'd have for a usual cookie. Now it's time to make the board, which is a lot easier to do than all the little pieces. So I just rolled it out, and I had the biggest square I could find, which was 5 inches by 5 inches, and I baked them at 350 degrees, and they had to definitely go longer than the small ones. So right now I'm outlining it with a light green royal icing. This way when you flood it, it'll have nice crisp edges. And the nice thing is that with this cookie, this is all the filling you do. This is all the royal icing you need. Just one time outline fill, and then you're done with royal icing. Now's the fun part. I printed out a stencil and I have my airbrusher so I could do the green around each of the spots. Slowly getting better using my airbrusher. Ooh. And now if you look in the middle, there's brown. So I tried to do different shading of browns for where the buildings go. Now it's time to add all those little trees. Which I really would say look the most flattering here. But at least when it dries, you can at least tell that the little 3Dness makes them look like trees, which is pretty exciting. So basically you're just going plop, 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 plop. All around for lots of little dots. And we did it! There it is! Ta-da! Thanks for watching this video to learn how to make your own tiny town game that you can play with your friends and then eat, of course. If you want to see the game play tasted, I was brave and I sent it out again to Better Half Reviews. So they're going to teach you how to play the game and then play with the edible pieces. And that'll be at 12 p.m. EST on this channel. And I did a fun interview on the Better Half Review channels too. So make sure you check them out as well. Keep playing games and keep them sweet. Bye!